Yeah.
When I came to America, to be honest with you, I have a lot of hopes. If my kid's born, I'm going to teach this. But the reality is different.
Well, I think all of our parents, when they came to this country, they had that
Hope,
the expectation, like,
yes.
freedom.
Plus, we think we're going to be, the moment you arrive in United States of America, gonna print dollars and dollars.
Yeah. It just comes easy.
Yeah, easy to print.
Everything's easy in America and the West.
But in reality, brother and sister, our life, honestly, even you born here, your American sister Layla born here, but also the situation now completely even different, not even our time.
Yeah, it's harder.
But at the same time, we live in America, and people are, mashallah, from Africa. And the situation in Africa, different than America, different than Palestine. We're going to speak about this, the expectation and reality about our life in the present time.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm talking about you as an official people in the government working and deal with the Christian, Jews, Buddhists, and the seven colors. And 7 colors.
We deal with everything.
Exactly. Yeah. But what expectation, brother? We hope, yes, but the reality is different.
Well, we have these expectations, especially our.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Right. It's been a very long time.
Yeah.
We've been back here. But mashallah, we have these expectations. Especially when you get married and you have your own kids. Right?
Indeed.
We have these expectations that our parents raised us this way. Our grandparents were there. So us as parents thinking that we're gonna raise our kids different, because it's a different time, but we'll also have a little bit of the similarities. And especially when we talk about marriage, we talk about kids, we talk about school expectations, we talk about life expectations, job expectations. I think one of the things that we have here in the West, and correct me if I'm wrong, people that live in the West, a lot of times we feel like we're entitled to things, like we deserve it just because we're here. We're in the West, we deserve to have this, we deserve to have that job, we deserve to have that wife, because we're here already. But we don't understand how the reality is.
Reality is different then.
Reality is a little bit different. You're not going to get that job if you don't go to school, if you don't study, if you don't try, if you don't focus. You're not just going to get it. They're not just going to give it to you. Right? The same thing happens when I talk to these kids about marriage, and they talk about the expectations of marriage, and they think that I'm going to get a model wife, and she's going to be this beautiful, gorgeous woman who's going to worship me and cook and clean and do all this stuff. And then you talk to the women, and their expectations are, he's going to buy me a Lamborghini, and he's going to give me a pension. There are all these expectations. And you listen to these two kids talk, and you say, what are you watching to make you feel who's telling you these things? What are you watching? What's going on in your head to make you believe that this is what the reality is, when your expectations are so far off that reality, right? And so a lot of times now, we as the older generation, we forget that social media plays a big role now in what the expectations for our kids are.
I agree with you.
Right? We forget that we watch social media to see what's happening, right? To get our news, because we don't trust the news. You can't trust the news on TV because
some people do.
Some people do, and we kind of realize that the news that we watch it on TV it's one-sided. It's not going to tell you.
Absolutely.
My thing is, they couldn't even get the weather right. How are they going to tell us the real news, right? So I don't even watch that. But we get the news from what's happening overseas, to what's happening in Europe, to what's happening in Africa, from social media.
Yeah, most likely.
But our kids, they're watching. What are they watching on social media the majority of the time? Singing, dancing.
Yeah.
Majority of the time, they're watching these things that are just filling their minds. And subhanAllah, I started to notice too, and I don't know if it's been coming on your feed, but I've started to see people who dress like Muslims, talk like Arabs. They talk like they know hadiths and surahs and Qur'ans, but they're giving false information.
It's a lot.
And it's coming more and more and more. This is something that you and I, we talked about, I think, a year ago, where it was 1 or 2 people doing these things. Now it's a majority of these guys that are coming out there, and they're just giving wrong information,
but not live with the reality.
They're telling, in one of the clips I saw, it's a female who is a hijabi woman talking to the girls, giving giving advice to the girls about the marriages, about how to, pick a right guy and what you deserve as a woman. And if that man is not giving you $500,000 up front before he marries you, then you're not worth it. You put a price on your head, and these females are seeing these things, and they're thinking in their head, oh well, yeah, I am worth $500,000.
Yeah.
But the reality is, who has $500,000?
Yes. Some people actually that believe in Brother Muhammad. I deal with this a lot. We even have with the expectation of the huge dowry money.
Yeah.
They fail. Most likely they fail.
Yeah.
Not only actually, we have Palestinians actually that are married in Miami, and the party was $1 million. $1 million.
And the
second day they got divorced.
The other girls see this and they say, "Well, I want something like this," and then there becomes a competition. And then listen, it's not just here. Even in the Middle East, we were at when I was there. 1 minute the guy's married, the next month, 2 months they're divorced.
Yes, unfortunately.
Who sat with them and explained to them the reality of marriage? How it takes work. It takes work to make sure it works.
Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam about marriage. One of the Sahaba, the companion of Medina, he told Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so and so I want to marry. And he said, Prophet Muhammad, did you look at her? You know her? I said, no. He said, go and look at her first. That he will say, the Rasulullah said, look, because the purpose what? To get married. And he went there, and she was in a well, he looked at her, and he came back to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, yes, Rasulullah, her. And Rasulullah preferred the key, yes, but also we are Muslims. We know it's haram to have this kind of relationship.
Yeah, of course.
But not everybody know that.
No, and
not live in Islam reality.
Yeah, and the thing is this: we believe, because we're in the West, that we have this thing that we should date, right? We should go out and we should and we should we should do all this stuff and keep it hidden from my father, keep it hidden from my mother. Let me just do things behind the scenes, and then if I like the guy, I will tell my father, tell him to tell his father. Well, what happens if something happens in that process time, right? And this is what I try to explain to the girls and the boys. Like, you guys don't realize that if you don't have somebody with you, monitoring you, watching and talking and listening to what's happening, to back you up as a sister, right? So that brother, if nothing happens, or if he doesn't succeed as a marriage, or you don't get engaged, that brother can't go and talk trash about you because you had somebody watching you.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with you.
And it goes vice versa, both ways. She could say something that he did.
I think with Brother Muhammad, we are in challenge.
It's a big challenge.
This challenge actually for parents, number one, for individuals not even married yet, and as a society, as a Muslim, we challenge. This kind of challenge actually is to keep your iman, to keep your Islam, a lot of hardship to reach.
Yeah, it's tough. It's hard to keep it.
But in the same time, brother, we are Muslims.
Yeah.
How to, with this kind of hardship and calamity, we can face this to solve the problem without even be in that stream.
So I think a lot of times that at least what I've been seeing with, this is what I talked to you when we talked about what we want to talk about today. The last couple of weeks have been really hectic with marriages, with these young couples. And a lot of times I see the parents of these young couples who are getting married just call us. She said she doesn't want to be with them anymore. They got into a small fight, and I'm just gonna take her from him. Yeah, because you have to let them work through this stuff. You can't just, when we go to school, we tell our kids, try hard, focus. Even if you mess up, keep trying, right? When we go to play sports, we tell our kids, try harder, don't give up, keep going, keep going. But when it comes to marriage, okay, khalas, you're upset. Come on, let's.
SubhanAllah, everything. Actually, in Sunnahfollowers a few months ago, I was explaining about the marriage from the Quran. How to get married.
Yeah.
How to have a relationship with the husband and wife, with family, with father and mother. Everything in our Quran, if we follow the Quran. If we follow the Quran.
But we some reason we follow social media, and we follow what these people are telling us online, and it says, we hear these guys who talking to these men who are in their 20s saying, your wife should be doing this for you, she should be obeying you, she should be worshiping you, she should whoa, hold on. And these kids watch this, they see these things, And the only reason why I know these things are happening is because when I sit down with these couples before they get married, like a week or two or a month or two before they get married, and we sit down, we have a talk, and I listen to the whole way the boy talks. I listen to the way the girl talks, and everything they're saying, I've seen it on social media. So I know what they're watching, right? I saw that video that you saw. That's not right. Like I see, and I know, sometimes I tell people, oh, my job is watching social media, and people think, you're just watching social media to have fun. No, I'm watching because I want to see what these kids are seeing.
Yeah.
Right. And so I know my heart. I know alhamdulillah, I stay close to my deen. I stay close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I stay close to my kids. I stay close to my wife. Stay close to my family. So I know what I'm watching, what's real and what's not. What the agenda they're trying to push on us.
No.
Right. And they know that Islam has the perfect answer for every single thing.
If
right? We follow. So how can you break down that Muslim society? Right? How can you break that down? Well, let's sprinkle a little bit of false, let's make them believe that they're listening to Islamic, knowledge. Let's let them believe, make the guy have a beard, make the guy dress like in the Arabic garb. Let's have a woman who wears a hijab and say the things that we're telling them to say, because these kids don't know any better.
Yes.
Right? And the parents don't know what's going on because the parents give them their tablets, their phones, and they're not listening or watching what their kids are watching.
This is a problem.
So how are they going to know how to explain to their kids what they're watching is wrong?
So the expectation in this case is always the problem is us as the parents, the community is what is exactly. And have to, this expectation that we need to live in reality, but it's hard to live in reality. Our answer miss us with the adults.
Mm-hmm.
But our youth, male and female, not live in our reality. Plus, we are Muslims.
So, for me at least, I like to talk to the little kids, right? The younger kids, high school kids, middle school kids, and even the college kids, because my thought process is if I can talk to those guys and females and explain to them the realities of what Islam is all about and what the world is like, right? I mean, one of my things everybody here should know by now is we're Muslims, we're built different. Right, we're not built for here.
And repeat this again to the social media here.
Yeah, that's my motto. We're Muslims. We're built different.
Different. What exactly? Explain to me.
So when everybody else is partying, dancing, drinking, doing their haram stuff, we're over here. We're different. We don't do that stuff. When everybody else is here, is dating and doing their haram stuff, we're over here.
Tomorrow, the New Year.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called. Tomorrow, 31st.
Mm-hmm.
What's called? I forgot.
New Year's
Eve. Yeah. Actually, when I was in finishing in university in Egypt,
mm-hmm.
plus Islamic University
mm-hmm.
and Egypt and Islamic University, believe it or not, in that day, 31st, everybody having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Except my group, what I do with this thing, I think everybody can do the same thing. I bring all my friend to my house, and my mom, he come from Gaza,
mm-hmm.
to us, and she cook for us, and we have party in the house, not outside in the bar. Because most of the people get the drink.
No, of course, yeah.
Imagine, I took about how many years?
Yeah.
More than 60 years.
No.
No, I'm 60.
30.
Yeah. I mean, 1988.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was still a baby back then.
Yes, yeah. My point, this kind of my time and this time also even worse.
It's getting worse because again, we're living in a westernized society, where even in Africa and the Middle East and China and all these guys, social media plays a big role.
To Africa, we're not in Africa. If you have anything Brother Mohammed said or say, please, you can interrupt with that. The African people, inshallah, jazakumullah khair.
But we all have the problem with social media. I don't care where you live, right? Because at the end of the day, social media spreads like crazy. On my feed, sometimes I get South African stuff. I get things from Ethiopia. I get things, wherever. So we get feeds from all over the world. So you're telling me that you don't think that they're getting the same feeds that our kids are getting? No. Islamic feeds that our kids are seeing, the false expectations. So we have the problem that we're having is that if we're not really watching what our kids are watching and seeing what our kids are seeing, how are we supposed to combat that?
Yeah.
So what I do is I explain to the kids, the middle school kids, the high school kids, and sometimes even the college kids, that talk to your parents about what you're seeing. Show them this video. show them the video of what you're watching, and ask your parents, is this right? Is this something we should follow? Is this something that you think is right?
Hold on, that's very, Brother Muhammad mentioned this, brother and sister, very, very important. That Brother Muhammad explained to me, to the everybody watching us. Now, I have to speak to my son about what I'm watching, what the reason of that. How as a father, as a aunt, as a mother, how to deal with my son, my daughter about that? How to deal with it?
So you're not
On
going
the fight. Mostly we fight.
Yeah, of course. We're always angry.
We're young, yeah, exactly. But tell me how. All right, for everyone.
Here's the thing: the way you start things with our kids is going to determine whether or not they're going to come back to you or not. Right? They're going to ask you a question, and how you answer that question is going to determine whether or not they're going to say, "Okay, you know what, Baba or Mama feels like I can talk to them." Right, because again, back in our days, we were yelling, we were screaming. Our parents were whipping. Yeah, well, not just us, but my parents, right?
Yeah, I mean the parents,
off the shibs and all that stuff. Right?
Yeah,
that's the way it was back then. But now we have to actually communicate with our kids by talking.
Yes.
How are we going to be able to answer their questions or talk to them in a way of understanding if we don't know what they're watching? So if like, let's say your kid comes to you and says, "Mama, I have this video I want you to watch. Is this right?" And you watch that video. And you say, "Listen, maybe let's talk about this video. This is not correct. Let's look at the comments and see what some of the comments are saying." And you'll see even some of the comments that people write is, "No, this is haram. No, this is wrong." Or somebody will say, some lonely person will think, "Oh my gosh, this is perfect." You as a father or as a mother have to be able to say to your son or daughter, "This is not what Islam is all about. Let me explain to you what they're talking about. Let me
help."
In a calm, in a nice,
calm.
Yeah, nice.
As a parent,
yeah, because we have a tendency to get upset real fast.
Yeah.
Right? How many times is sabr written in the Quran that we don't even follow it?
Yeah, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, Allah said, "Wabashir sabr," give glad tidings for the people who have patience.
But we don't have it.
Not everybody,
but
my father has patience. May Allah give rahmah to him.
But the majority of us don't have that.
Yes,
patience, right?
Indeed.
We get upset. Why are you watching this? Who? Why are you seeing
that?
That's where you're gonna say, and they're not gonna come back.
Brother, it's very important to something. Give your son, your daughter. Brother Muhammad mentioned this before. So something bad, and you watch. Do not fight back.
No, it's all a learning. You make this all of learning experiences, right? Our kids learn from us mostly than anybody else. At least that's what we want, right? We want our kids to learn from us.
But believe it or not, what I heard and I researched actually, most of our kids now learn not from the parents,
from social media, from
the phone,
yeah,
from the phone.
Absolutely. And as much as we go in and we talk to our kids, and as many times, like I've said this before. I have parents who come to me and complain about what I'm telling their kids to talk to their parents about things. Why did you tell my kid to come talk to me about these things? Why did you tell my kid that I should go and spend more time with my kid? When I'm coming home and I'm tired, I don't want to. This is the parents telling me these things, that their kids are going to their parents and telling them what I've told them. Because the majority of the time, 90% of the time, 95% of the time, I tell the kids, I want you to tell your parents what we're talking about. I want you to tell your parents what Brother Muhammad said to you today in class, because I want them to know what you guys are learning in class.
If the kids went to the parents, do you think the parents will attack you?
I've gotten in trouble a couple of times.
My point, with all my respect, Brother Muhammad, whoever attack, even advice, and even attack you, these parents. They're not there.
I know what you're saying.
I don't want to say.
No, I know.
Yeah,
I know. Because a lot of times I've always thought when the first time it happened, I said, okay, there's
low self-esteem.
Yeah, there's low self-esteem. There's insecurities that father's running. That father has some stuff going on inside of him.
I really like that answer.
So
repeat this again, brother.
Yeah. So as a parent, you have to know what's going on inside of you, right? You have to understand what's happening inside of you. How do you feel when your kid comes to you after school and says, Brother Muhammad or Brother such and such said, you should do this with me or you should do that with me? How does that make you feel? If you get angry, if you're getting upset, if you're getting frustrated, then really dive into your soul and say, what's Why am I getting mad at this?
I'm being judged myself.
Yeah. Why am I getting mad at this? This is not a bad thing. So a lot of times when parents come in and complain, or I mean, three fathers, I can just at the top of my head, I've had to sit with them and say, okay, come on, let's talk. Don't get mad. Don't yell in front of everybody in the masjid. Let's talk. Let's have a sit down, and let's sit down and talk on the bench, and let me see what's really going down inside of that person, of that brother. And I think that's our problem as Muslims, is we kind of just, we want to attack, and then we want to attack back. And what is that going to do?
They fail. They fail.
And the kid is done. The kids are going to be the ones that lose.
Yes.
I'm trying to help these kids grow into better Muslims. Right? We have to understand that we have, back in our days, we used to say, don't talk to strangers, stay away from this people, stay away from that person, he's doing this, he's doing that. Now we give our kids the phones and we say, talk to the world and watch whatever you want to watch.
Yeah. I see some parents are doing excellent, especially with all my respect, mom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's an easier time to take care of your kid. Just watch the phone and leave
it there.
And leave it, yeah.
So what is the most hardship you see worry about our kids? Actually in America now. We are in America. Well, the most hardship you feel about the Muslim community, the kids in the Muslim community.
I think the biggest thing that I'm seeing, at least with our Muslim community in America, in the area we live in, right? We live in this area. We live in Miami. We live in Florida. What I've seen, and I think this is going to happen all across the countries, because Islam is very strong, right? Our deen is very strong. Our deen is perfect. And I think there's a lot of forces out there that know that the deen is perfect. They know that we're the last,
very nice.
We're the last people standing, right? We don't budge from our deen. And so they know, people like you at your age, people like me at my age, they know that we're set. We know our deen. This is haram, this is halal, we know it.
Oh.
So they know now how can we get the next generation of kids to break that stubbornness, that why do they have to follow that deen that's perfect? So what I'm gonna see, and what I'm seeing now, at least with our kids, is that they want to break the confidence and the soul of that kid early on. You break that confidence, you break that self-esteem, you break that in a kid at a young age, you can do whatever you want with that. You can manipulate, you can shape them, you can mold them. So once you do that, and you get that kid before the age of 20, 22, 25, you can do whatever you want to that kid. And that's where I'm seeing it. I'm seeing our kids, they're losing their leadership qualities. They're losing their manliness, how to be a real men. Our females are forgetting how to be real females, how to be real. Our women forget that they have so much power, that they feel like the power that our women have is stronger than any other woman has. It's weird that Islam has this power when it comes to females. And I see social media telling our girls a different way of power.
I think we're listening.
Lord.
Yeah.
God,
inshallah. I'm with you, inshallah.
Yeah. So when we look at that, we see that, go farther back, actually. When we see how that impacts our kids, that the power and control that these guys have. And then we see how the society now, the Westernized society, tells our women, if you want to have power, this is how you have to act. This is how you have to behave. And they do the same thing with our men, with our little boys, teaching them that if you want to be your man, this is how you have to act. This is how you have to behave, even though Islam already teaches you all this stuff.
Yeah. So yeah.
And I've seen that. I've seen that across all the schools I've gone to. I've seen that in the colleges and the universities. We've established that if you want to be a man, the West is telling you to be like this.
But a lot of our youth now, they're afraid of poverty. We are a fucker. It's a feel, even they have everything, but I feel I'm poor. I'm poor, even if they have something to eat. I'm poor.
It's funny you said that. I was listening to the Bank of America guy. He was talking on a podcast. He's on the CEO of Bank of America, and he was saying next year the biggest problem they're going to have is the Americans aren't going to spend any more money. They're not going to spend a lot of money like they used to. Where he said we're becoming a country, the generations that's coming up now is the people who don't want to buy stuff.
Actually, the opposite.
And but that's what he's saying. Like I see it. I see a lot of times now our kids they want to compete with each other. He has a new iPhone, I need a new iPhone. He has a new car, I have a new car. It's a competition, and it's about, and I don't want to look poor, right? I don't want to look poor.
Yeah.
And at least with my own family, my cousins, my nephews, my kids, and the kids I talk to at the schools, I try to explain to them, like, we're not that people that have to buy everything brand new, or have to buy, or have to compete, or we're not those kinds of people that have to do stuff like this. But listening to this guy speak, his biggest fear is if people don't spend more money, the upper rich people are going to lose a lot of money. That's his fear.
Yeah.
When you listen to the way he's speaking, is that we need people to keep spending money. We need the government to keep giving people money so they can spend money, so we can keep our more money in our pockets. That's his thought process. Instead of saying, hey, that's a good job that people aren't spending anymore. People are going to be conservative with their money. They're going to buy what they need to buy. No, we need to keep the people spending.
And the proof, every day, every expensive, even the gas.
Every day, every thing of life is going to become expensive.
So, I mean, in our household now, in houses, mostly we are a culture. Everybody has his own culture, number one. Number two, my opinion, brother and sister, I will listen to ask you, the peace and tranquility in the house make a lot of affect or like a result to the child or the people inside the house.
Absolutely.
If there is peace, like not, especially how to deal with each other in the house.
Yeah. I mean, we've walked into houses where people are, the husbands and wives are just always.
Yeah.
And what are the kids? The kids are, they're fighting again. Oh, they're okay. Oh, you see how the kids' reactions.
Yeah. The thing is, the result is not my kids. I can't accuse my kids in this case. If my kids, for example, I give him everything, but that's I'm poor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's culture.
That's more of a society thing.
Society.
Yeah, because our kids are now. Remember, our kids are in the West. They're living with, they're competing with not Muslims, but non-Muslims, right? They see the non-Muslims who are taught that the success is if you're driving a nice car. Whereas in Islam, what's success? The closer you are to your deen, right? The closer you are to Islam, the closer you are to Allah. That's how we define success. In the West, the bigger the house you have, the more money you have, the bigger the car you have, that's success. And that's just what I tell people, we're built different. Right? Our definition of success, our definition of happiness is different than their happiness. Because these people, a lot of times, how many times have you walked into these, $1 million homes and the people are miserable?
Yes. Yeah.
But how many times have you walked into a small townhouse or a nice little house? And the houses.
Indeed.
So and then my biggest thing is I tell the people before they get married, live below your means, right? Don't live above your means. Don't live at your means. Live below your means, and that only means get what you need and save.
In Palestine, I grew up in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
My mom and my father, we are in the house. We have 3 brothers and 5 sisters.
Sure.
8 kids, and the father and mom were 10 in one room.
But how close were you after this? That makes you close to each other.
In fact, until now, me and brother and sister, especially my sister, I'm like this. Especially sister.
And now we see these kids who are being raised in these big houses.
And now my sister have kids and grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
I am me and my nieces, my nephews like this.
Yeah. But look at how it is now. With the West again, our parents or our generation have been told money, buy a bigger house, and then next thing you see one kid who stays in his room over there, one kid who stays in his room over there.
We witness that.
And then you see how separated these family members are. And then what happens? I can't wait to go to college. I can't wait to get out of this house.
I know some parents to speak to her son or daughter, texting each other.
Yeah, and she's upstairs in the room. Yeah.
What do you think about this kind of people? Really, your son, your daughter in a house, you texting your son in the next room.
You guys, we have to slowly break that cycle, right? If this has been something that's been happening in your houses for years, for years and years, that you've been, doing these things where you've been texting your kids and they're right in the room across from you. if this is something that has been going on for years, this is something that you got to start breaking that cycle little by little by little. And if you don't have family dinners, let's say you've never had a family dinner and only during Ramadan,
Yeah.
Inshallah, you have at least during that time. Start to one day a week put that family dinner back on the schedule, right? Whether it's on a Wednesday or on a Friday or on the weekend, I don't care. Just one day a week you start with, where you have your family coming down on the kitchen table, putting the phones away.
Have a good idea. Sunnahfollowers, this is Layla. Today, 10th of Rajab. I mean, 20 days Rajab finished. Sha'ban, one month and 20 days Ramadan.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do I speak about something? How to prepare a decent, beautiful house in Ramadan?
Yeah, we should do a talk about that, because we have and this is something I was talking to a brother at the picnic. They had the masjid had a picnic the other day, and I was talking to him about smoking. Okay, he's an older gentleman. He used to work with my father. We're talking. I've known him for years, and I said to him, "You still smoke?" He said, "Yeah, I know, I still smoke." I said, "Well, why don't you use Ramadan as your springboard to help you stop?"
I did the same thing.
And he says, I stopped for 6 months, but then I picked it up again. I can stop anytime I want.
That's a disease.
Then he talks to me about another kid of his who's smoking vapes. Well, I can't tell your kid to stop smoking vapes if you're smoking cigarettes.
Oh, I agree.
We can't be hypocrites.
Yeah, but our kids actually, we live, dad, mom, live in society, the American society and African society, and
the Middle East, everywhere.
But not my society. The kids normally, we live in our society. How can I deal with this?
It's we're battling now. We're battling the outside, and we're trying to keep our kids in our bubble, right, in our Islamic bubble.
There is no way.
And it's hard. You can't. You have to. Even for us who works out in the public, right? We're out in public every day. We have to work outside with everybody who's not a Muslim. So how do you keep your composure? How do you keep your deen? How do you keep your confidence, right, in everything that you're doing when you're surrounded by all this other stuff?
Yeah.
Right. Every single day, even during the holidays, we have people, doing Christmas things and giving out gifts, and they want to do things. They want to go out for this, and they want to. How do you, as a Muslim, navigate all that? All that stuff when you're trying to keep close to your deen.
Hard.
It's hard. It's very.
I agree with you.
But again, that comes right back to building that confidence. Right? I'm very confident saying, "Hey, I'm a Muslim. I don't celebrate Christmas. I'm sorry."
But how the kids, most likely, they cannot have this kind of confidence.
Well, that leads, and confidence and self-esteem is all built as they grow up, right?
Can you rebuild it?
You can, of course.
How?
Of course, it's communication. It's
communication with
the kids, with each other, talking, explaining, talking, sitting down, showing them, leading by example.
I mean, don't give up.
No.
Do not give up. Be optimistic.
Yeah, never give up on our kids. That's, I think, one of the biggest things that I see, because a lot of times we get the call when everything's so far gone and they just give up. Okay, let me call let me call Sheikh Ibrahim, let me call Brother Mohammed, let me see how they can fix this. But call us before. Call people before when it's starting, so we can actually get a hold of it and show you as a parent what you're doing wrong. Because I'm very keen on that.
I like that you mentioned this before. It's good actually to see what the problem between the parents before the kids.
Yeah,
I like that.
Before it gets to the point where they don't want to talk to you anymore.
So, brother and sister, Brother Mohammed mentioned this before. Let's again. It's good to judge you. If my daughter have a problem, asked me as a father. The mom asked me, what exactly we did wrong for my son, my daughter to act
like this. And then listen, there's plenty of times. There's plenty of times where I've walked into a house and I've seen the parents, mashallah, very good parents. I've seen the kids, very good kids, but there's always that one kid who doesn't really get what's happening, doesn't really follow the rules, or very disrespectful, or doing vaping, so then you sit down with the parents and you say, well, I don't think it's the parents. I think society got this kid.
The
society got this kid. His peer pressure, his unwillingness to follow the rules at home. He's got very weak-minded. He became very weak-minded.
Society and school.
Society, school, social media, it all plays a big role. Even for us as Muslims in a non-Muslim, countries, we can take our phones away from our kids, but they're still going to go to public school, or they're going to go to an Islamic school where kids have their phones.
Yep.
So they're going to see, they're going to listen, they're going to hear what's happening on social media anyway.
But I heard actually some public school in America, I don't know where, but I saw in social media actually, they stopped any cell phone into the school, well, from the elementary school to high school. Like a war after that, but some school they stopped.
Most likely private schools, because a lot of the
private.
Yeah, public schools have rules they have to follow and certain things that have to happen to get these things passed. But you do have private schools, and I've seen it where they, as soon as kids come into the school, you got a phone and a couch.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, you lock it up and then you go to class.
And in China and Japan, they do that.
But yeah, they do that. And
in China and Japan, they do
because it becomes a distraction a lot of times, or kids are doing really bad stuff.
Most of the time.
Yeah, majority of the time they're distracted, they're watching stuff, they're not doing.
And they claim everything on the phone, there's research, this in the phone. That's why I think.
Yeah, I mean, they can cheat on tests, they can get all their answers. Even now watches, because smart watches, they can cheat off of that as well.
Okay, something now, a lot of kids actually, they feel, and this, I believe this question here is very important, what happened recently here, and they feel to say, I am a Muslim.
Yeah, it goes again back to confidence, right?
Confidence.
They're
low self-esteem.
They have very low self-esteem. A lot of times our kids are saying these things because they don't know how to answer questions about Islam. Right. And one of the things I always explain to the kids is don't answer any questions that you don't know the answers to.
Exactly.
Right. It's very haram for you to give bad information.
Indeed.
Or wrong information. So
a lot of men doing that and women doing that.
Yeah, they want to act like they know everything. And I always say, even when I'm doing my trainings on Islam and the difference between Islam and culture with the non-Muslims, I always say, if I don't know, do me a favor, email me the question. I'm going to email it to a sheikh or an imam, and then I'll email you back the answer. That way, at least I'm not saying anything wrong.
We have 4 imams, great imams: Imam Malik, Abu Hanifa, and Ahmad ibn Hanbal, and Shafi. We have 4 great imams. People came from Tunisia with 100 questions to Imam Malik in Medina. Imagine this camel.
Yeah.
Imagine from Africa to Asia to ask questions. They came to Imam Malik, question, yes, I give the answer. And he said, I didn't know. 30 questions, I didn't know. And the Imam asked, you are Imam Malik, you know everything. I'm a human being, and I'm an Adam.
Yeah.
I didn't know everything.
Absolutely.
And he is but the Imam Malik, the great Imam. My point, you're right with that. A lot of people come with the fatwa, Siri, and Google fatwa, and they give you an answer. And they read it for you.
And that's the other thing I tell the kids is don't look for the answer online, because you can find any answer you want online. You can find any answer about anything and make yourself right.
Yes.
You can say, well, there has to be a hadith that says it's okay for me to drink alcohol. And I can guarantee you're going to find an imam that's going to say, it just says you can't get drunk, or it says you only can have 1 beer, but you can't have this other beer. You're going to find imams that say these things.
That is.
You're going to find imams that say it's okay to eat pork, even though you have halal beef right there. You're going to find these imams that say these things.
In California, and I heard also in New York, the masjid, the imam is a woman. And lead the salah, khutbah al-jum'ah, and lecture, and lead the salah, and men behind her.
Yeah. And you see this thing, and you say, how do these people not know what they're doing is wrong?
Yeah, but the problem is actually, as you said, knowledge.
Is it knowledge? Or my thought process is these people go to these messages that know that these messages are doing the wrong thing, or are saying the wrong things, or is it just out of like they want to change? They think that Islam is too strict, right? And a lot of kids, they say that Islam is really strict. It's very strict. I say, well, Islam isn't a religion; it's a way of life.
Yeah.
Right. If you look at the way the Deen is set for you, the religion tells you how to eat, how to drink. The Deen tells you how to pray. Why you pray? Why do you have to pray 5 times a day? That's too much. right? That's the kids say, why, well, why we have to pray 5 times? What? And then you, as long as a parent, and again, to the goes to the parents and even the imams, to give them the reasons why we're doing things.
No.
Don't just say it's in our Quran, it's Islam, khalas, that's it.
You see,
That's back in my days, that's back in our days. Islam says this, khalas. But now we have our kids.
Allah said in the Quran, وَجَادِلْهُمْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Argue with them in a very moderate way.
Yeah, and but if you're not explaining things to the kids, if you're not going down to their level of an explanation, how are you expecting these kids to
repeat? You have to come to their
level.
You know who said that? Ali ibn Abi Talib, the cousin of Rasulullah, the one who married Fatima. He said, خاطب الناس على قدر عقولهم. Speak to the people according to their mentality.
And remember, our kids that are 11, 12 years old are not the same 11 and 12-year-olds that we were. They're more immature. They're younger minded. They're more like we were younger. Maybe we were more mature. We were stronger. We were more confident back then. Our kids now are weaker. Leadership is feeble. They're looking for somebody to tell them what to do, how to do things. We have to be, as parents, to tell our kids how to do, how to act, how to behave.
I like this question you mentioned before, but Brother Muhammad, how I make my son to have a good self-esteem, strong, number one, a brave, to speak, not afraid. How?
So
it's not easy.
It's not easy. But here's the thing.
Number one is
let your kids see you in and not in real world situations, right? Not just at home, but when you're going out with your kids to the mall, or when you're going out to a restaurant, or you're going out to eat, or you're doing something with your kids, let them see how you're interacting with the people out there. Right? A lot of times my kids will say, "Oh, I like the way you answered that question. The guy over there was asking you. I like the way you answered that. I like the way you spoke to him."
You have to be a model for your child.
A big role model, and not just in the home.
Outside
the house. Let your kids see how you're going to interact with somebody who's going to say, "Why is your wife wearing a hijab?" How are you going to answer that? How are you going to behave when somebody says that to you? Are you going to start fighting that guy? Or are you going to use this as a teaching moment for that guy and for your kids?
So, in your opinion, yes, I can teach my son, my daughter to be a brave.
Absolutely, 100%.
A strong self-esteem.
100%.
But number one, you act the way you act.
The way
outside.
Yes, our kids mimic us. Even if we don't know, our kids are watching everything we're doing. Right? They're hearing you on the phone, talking on the phone. They're watching what you're watching on your phone, right? They're hearing what you're watching.
Even the phone.
Even the phone. They can hear what you're saying. They can hear what you're watching. They can hear these things. So if you're telling your kids, don't watch this stuff, it's haram. But then you're over here on your phone and you're scrolling, and the stuff that you're watching is haram. How are you doing this?
Well,
you know.
Yeah. I mean, also don't forget, Islam is a just, fair. We don't see that reality in of course, not only in America, in Africa, here, there,
everywhere.
Number one is the al-adl, justice. We don't have justice. But I can actually to be a just in my household, my wife, my husband, my son, my daughter, my household. I can apply the justice there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then I can spread it after that.
You spread it. You start in your house, and inshallah spreads the community, to the neighbors, to your, it's amazing to me how if you do things right in your house, how it impacts just your neighbors, your non-Muslim neighbors in the West. Right? It's so
to be just,
just to be nice, to be like my kids grew up over here, and a lot of times you'll have the neighbor say, "Man, listen, I saw you guys move in and I got a little worried because I saw your wife wearing a hijab, and I was kind of worried. But now I saw your kids and I see the way you are with your kids, and I see how loving you guys are and how just you guys are and how friendly you guys are." And it opens up that conversation to let them stop that brainwashing that they saw on TV, on social media, on the news, because the news is always going to tell Muslims are bad. The news is always going to say Muslims are bad. News are always going to be against the Muslim. And there's a big reason for that. Again, they know that Islam is like that perfect religion. So they have to break that. They have to try to break that. They can't break us. So they're going to break our kids. right? And so I always tell the parents, like, they're gonna break us. They're trying to take your kids away from you emotionally and mentally and spiritually.
Actually, one of the kids actually in Salat al-Jum'ah, he came to couple, senior, came to the masjid. And then I asked, he's a Muslim. I said, they become Muslims. I said, how you, the youth actually, he's actually the first year in University of Miami.
Sure.
First year. And how they become Muslims? You know how? He told me, he said, no, nothing. We are our neighbor, in front of our house. And if they need something, I make the garbage for them. I put the garbage. And I just to take care of them. And they have 4 kids. 4 kids are in Florida. But only that kid, they come to take care of the parents, the couple. And this is why you're doing this. You're not our son. And said our Islam, say we have to have 7 neighbors.
Yeah.
You are our neighbor.
Yeah.
And they become Muslims. They come to the masjid.
But that's and how many times we talk to them about the deen?
Nothing.
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 Yes.
Only helping them and the garbage. When he go to the mail, they get the mail for them. Nothing else.
Absolutely.
And they know his name Mohammed.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it. But that's how we do it. That's how it's
Not in his spiritual way. That kid first, and that since you start, since we were high school, we just moved this area. I say, cannot they move around? I try to help them. Just helping.
Yeah.
And his name, I know how they found his Muhammad. He's a Muslim because his name Muhammad.
And that's again, that goes to why.
Subhanallah.
And I do a whole thing about names, right? Why we can name our kids certain things. How if you're
yeah.
in the West, we give them names from musicians or from whatever. Whereas for us, we give them strong names, right? And so we have to explain to our kids, your name says it all.
Yes.
But they won't know anything about me until they hear my name.
Yes.
They won't. But the only way they're gonna know anything about me without hearing my name is if my wife is with me or if my daughter's with me. Then they'll know.
And Muhammad.
Then we'll know we're Muslims. So we as the generation grows up, if we don't really teach them how to do da'wah without doing da'wah.
Allah. Da'wah without da'wah.
Without da'wah, that's how it spreads. Even like for my own mother, where she stays and she has that neighbor who has nobody with her, and we're constantly bringing her cookies, we're bringing her biscuits, we're bringing her stuff, and she's probably in her 90s, but that's how Islam is.
You mean that was our Islam? In this case of Muhammad, I know it's hard, but still, I can change a lot of things step by step. By the way, in my household, myself first, I can do that, right?
You can. It's not a big. It's a big
deal.
It's a habit,
but it's not easy.
It's a habit. It's a habit. Yeah, it's a habit we're trying to break.
I like that.
And so when I talk to the college students, they're in their 20s, right? When you have a conversation with these college students about marriage, about life, about jobs, about careers, about all this stuff, I explain to them whatever you think your parents did that was wrong as Muslims, and they'll raise their hand and they'll tell me certain things. They'll say, my dad used to do this or my mom used to do that. Well, is that Islamically correct or is that Islamically incorrect? And a lot of kids will say, well, no, I think it's incorrect. Okay, so are you going to do what your parents did Islamically incorrect, or are you going to learn from their mistakes? And that makes them start to think.
Yes.
Okay, all right. And a lot of times these kids who go to college and we have these groups and we have these talks, after 3 or 4 weeks of having these talks, they go home and they start to say, oh, Baba, you're doing that wrong. And they have these conversations with their parents, and you start to see their parents now. Oh my gosh, my son is correct. I'm doing this wrong. I'm wrong. And a lot of times that's why I go to the younger kids, because the younger kids, once they start to talk to their parents, it makes the parents feel guilty that now their kid is becoming a better Muslim than them.
Oh.
And so it works that way around.
May Allah,
at least for me.
Guide the Muslim Ummah. May Allah guide the Muslim Ummah. May Allah guide our kids. Allah,
and it's not hard to break a habit, right? It takes a while. It takes some time. It takes a lot of persistence, a lot of consistency. It takes a lot of dedication.
Yeah.
To really want to say to yourself, okay, I'm doing this. Let's say smoking, or let's say gambling, or let's say going out with women, or doing something haram. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of energy and effort. And then you have to remember now, if you're going to be that guy that used to go out every day with your friends after class and you're in college, and then all of a sudden you tell your friends, oh, I can't go out. Are you okay with now your friends saying, I don't want to hang out with you anymore? Are you okay with losing friends?
This is that problem, Muhammad. It's a really serious problem.
It's a very serious problem.
I know some kids like that. There's no way.
Yeah, they don't want to lose their friends. They want to keep their friends. They want to have all their social life. And I say to them, listen, I went to college here. I did my master's here. I went to school. I went through those years with all these guys I used to talk to in class and the girls I used to talk to in class, but I never went out after that.
SubhanAllah. Welcome to the club.
So do I have any friends? Probably not. I don't think so. Do I need? No. They're not paying my bills. They're not taking care of my kids. They're not doing anything for me other than the fact that if I was going with them, they're going to be slowing me down.
Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "As-sahibu sah." The friend is a drag.
Yeah, it drags you down.
Either to the Jannah or to the fire. That's your sahib. That's why, brother and sister, male and female, sister, brothers, you have to choose your friends.
Choose your friends.
You choose, regardless what age.
Absolutely.
Choose your friend to be safe, to be in the Jannah, inshallah, together.
Inshallah.
Alhamdulillah, Sunnahfollowers, mashallah, they are in 24 hours.
Mashallah.
24 hours, mashallah.
We have to, as the older generation, parents and all this stuff, we have to really be involved with our kids more than what our parents were.
Yeah.
Right? Our parents weren't really involved, working all the time, or the mom's working now. If we're not involved with our kids are going to get involved with somebody else. And if we don't guide them in the right way, show them how to be confident, show them how to be happy that you're Muslim, show them that take pride in being that Muslim,
yes,
they're going to fall down.
The 10 minutes left, and this is very important, 10 minutes, in my opinion. Okay. Why? Tomorrow, the new year. Tomorrow, the new year.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Jesus, alayhi salam, but how really, brother, to make tomorrow not to make our kids in household. Household, not community.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow is the Wednesday.
Yeah.
And most of the people are working. Actually, I don't know.
No, some people have half day.
Yeah, that's right. They have yeah, you're right with that. But how to make tomorrow, 31st of this month, December, to have something in my household?
Mm-hmm.
What? And for example, my wife and I were watching on YouTube actually Salah ad-Din.
Mm-hmm.
That's who's Salah ad-Din Ayyubi,
yeah.
And he make it like a warriors knights,
mm-hmm.
and also scholars.
Mm-hmm.
And how Salah ad-Din, our person, but that person in our life too. But how to make our kids tomorrow, brother Muhammad, tomorrow 31st, to mount our household in the house to make like a peace, plus not to get our kids to go outside. It's not dangerous.
Well, that's the thing too. Here in the West, we always try to, we avoid Halloween, we avoid the Christmas, all these holidays that we don't really celebrate. We always avoid that by, I know a lot of the masjids, they have, during Halloween time, they have,
yes,
events at the masjid, bring the kids close to the masjid, which is perfect. I wish a lot more masjids did stuff like this for New Year's and for Christmas and for all these other things that, keep your kids close to the masjid as much as possible. But our thing is this: we don't celebrate these things, right? We don't this is not even about Islam or Muslim. This is more from like law enforcement perspective. Let's talk about what happens during these days, right? During these hours, during the Christmas events, during the New Year's, the 4th of July events. These are things that these people go to at night. What are they?
Night.
Yeah, and what are they doing? They're drinking, they're partying, and then what are they doing after? They're driving. That's right. So a lot of times we get so many calls and so many wrecks and car accidents.
In that day
because these people think, I only had 7 beers, I'm good to go. I can drink, I can drive. Then you're driving
7 beers,
6, 7 beers, 8 beers, 9 beers.
But the beer actually probably makes the people drunk.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Anybody who drinks alcohol has a tendency to get buzzed, drunk, or whatever. But just let's be real, all right. And this is for anybody and everybody in the West.
Yeah, please
look at your newspapers, your articles. Look at what time the bad things happen. Majority of the time, the bad things happen is at night. Right. When the sun goes down, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, even 12, 1 o'clock. And when these things happen, when we have New Year's parties and 4th of July parties, The majority of the time, these people are leaving their parties because they're waiting. What are they waiting for? They're waiting for the ball to drop, right? They're waiting for these parties. They're counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and they're drinking and they're partying and wow.
You know what's going on? Be honest with you.
You don't know? I'm going to take you to one of these parties.
I don't.
I'll take you. Don't. I'll drive. You can drink.
Yeah.
But these people are going to these parties and these events, and they're not doing nothing but drinking and waiting and drinking and waiting for the ball to drop or for the countdown to come through, and they have the TVs on and they're watching all the fireworks, and then after that they leave.
Oh, fireworks also, yeah,
of course.
yeah.
You're gonna hear fireworks later, but these people are staying there at the bars, at the clubs, and they're waiting for this to happen. And in the process of them waiting, they're drinking, and then after they're drinking, they're going where? They're driving home. If they're smart, they're taking an Uber or they're going on a Lyft or they're getting somebody a taxi. But a lot of times they're not smart.
Stop the water, please.
A lot of times these people go out to these parties and they're not ready, or they're not, they don't care. They can drive, and then they get in a car accident or they kill somebody with their car, or they're.
So the advice here for everyone:
stay home.
Stay home.
Stay home with your kids. Do some type of family event. Order some pizza and some wings. Watch some Sunnah followers videos.
Oh, Sister Layla, make tomorrow a movie night. Yes.
Do something where you can have that time with your kids at the house, and explain to them why.
Yeah, I like that, brother Mohammed.
Whatever you can do to your kids better than anybody else, right? I know my kids. Your kids. Your children. Figure out ways to interact with your kids at their level. Right, depending on their ages and their mindset, their mentality, their maturity.
Yes.
If you have a 6-year-old, don't talk about pre-calculus and geography, the geometry. No, you have a 6-year-old, put something on the ground. Let's teach them how to play Scrabble or something, or do something with your kid that can really impact that time with that kid. Because
take
advantage of it. And at the time, please remember this: our kids will remember the time you spend with them.
Allah.
More than what you spend on them.
I like that. Yes.
I mean, it's only natural.
Take advantage, brother. Time is past. I'm sorry for that. But take the opportunity with this advice, brother Mohammed, Jazakallah khair, to do tomorrow 31st, and even not only in America, all over the world. Even the world. But we have to be careful. The best time just to make our family together.
Close.
Very, especially today and tomorrow. Tomorrow is very be closer and closer. Do anything. Even sometimes you don't have money. Make sure your kids around you, not to be outside.
You don't need to spend any money.
You don't have to.
You don't have to just.
Wallahi, when you show love.
That's it. They remember that.
And this kind of respect and love.
Absolutely.
Make difference.
Our kids will remember the time you spend with them, not the money you spend on them.
May Allah, Azza wa brother and sister, guide us to the right path. May Allah gather all of us with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gather all of us to be in Firdaus with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I'm sorry for the brothers. We are running 1 hour exactly. We passed down for a question. But inshallah, prepare yourself next week with Allah ta'ala. Any question regarding this topic or any topic, or anything new to speak about it with Brother Muhammad, take advantage. Alhamdulillah, Brother Muhammad, when at the charge, he charged us to make dua for him and his family.
That's all I want.
Yes, Alhamdulillah. Allah, جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.